Hey there and welcome back to the channel. I hope you had a great August long weekend, and in today's video we're going to dive back into Cochrane Alberta's real estate market, look at what happened in the month of July of 2025 and what to expect moving into the fall market here in Cochrane Alberta. Now, much like I've talked about in the past few videos, the market in the Calgary and surrounding area has been seeing a steady slowdown and decline in terms of overall sales numbers. Now, Cochrane has stayed pretty consistent over those past 3 or 4 months, matching the prior year's sales numbers and even exceeding them in a couple of those. This month marks the first time where Cochrane did see a decrease in sales number over last year at about 7% less sales. With that, Cochrane did see a slight decrease in its benchmark price over the previous month, and I mean slight. Now, adding to that little bit of a decline in sales numbers, we did also see the days on market in Cochrane rise to 44 days. Now, previously that's been sitting in the upper 20s to low 30s, so the jump to 44 is quite substantial. It is taking longer for the active listings on the market to sell. Now, some of those numbers, again, are slightly inflated because Cochrane, as it has been growing over the past 2 or 3 years, does have a significant number of new construction listings on the market. And naturally, those new construction listings with longer possession dates are going to sit on the market a little bit longer. So that is a little bit skewed in terms of that data point, but it is interesting to see the slight shifts month to month and get an idea of what that is doing in the overall market. On top of the rise of days on market and taking a little bit longer to sell, we are seeing 23% more new listings in July than we did last year. We're seeing an increase of 104% in our monthly inventory, and we're seeing about 120% increase in our month-to-month supply, bringing our supply up to just over 3 months, which is actually the highest amount of inventory Cochrane has had since 2019 or pre-COVID. That is a significant thing. Now, after giving you all of those details and saying that we've got increased inventory, decreased sales, longer time on market, I'm sure the next thing you're expecting me to tell you in this video is that the price in Cochrane, Alberta, total benchmark price, has dropped year over year. And it's just not the case. Again, Cochrane is managing, despite all of the signs, to retain a higher value year over year than Airdrie, Calgary, and some of the surrounding centers. So just looking at the actual benchmark price, which is obviously all properties, Cochrane saw an increase year over year of 2.5%. While not the earth-shattering numbers of 10 and 11 and 12 that we were seeing in 2023, and not the consistent growth that we were seeing of 5 to 8% over the past year, we still are seeing some growth. To highlight that importance, Airdrie saw almost a 4% drop in its benchmark price, and Calgary saw just under 4% as well in its benchmark price, highlighting some of the pullback on the condominium and row housing markets in Calgary. Now, when we move into the detached prices, this is where things leveled off a little bit. Cochrane did see an increase, albeit modest, at just under 1%. Calgary saw a decrease of just under 1%. However, Airdrie again comes up as the big, winner in this one, and it dropped 4% year over year in its detached price. So what that is telling me is that the desire to move to Cochrane, to be closer to the mountains, to be west of Calgary, is still stronger than that of living in some of the other centers. So if you are considering moving to Cochrane and you are concerned about how that move might affect your long-term property value gains, I would say that Cochrane is still showing itself to be a safe investment year over year, in that it has consistently shown an increase in its benchmark prices year over year, despite these recent slowdowns where all the other centers seem to be more affected by it. With that, you also are still, despite the price growth, getting more for your dollar in Cochrane than you are in many communities in Calgary. So for a short extra bit of commute, 15 minutes out past Tuscany, being in Cochrane does get you a little bit more value for your money. You have more natural spaces surrounding the town, a slower way of life, and you are that much closer to the Rocky Mountains and the recreation of Ghost Lake and everything that the west side of Calgary has to offer. So I do still feel that Cochrane is a great place to move to and purchase in. If you're looking at selling in Cochrane right now, Just expect that your home may take a little bit longer to sell. You are going to have to be more competitive in your pricing, and keep in mind that you are going up against some of the highest levels of inventory that we've had in the last 5 years. So what you're really needing to do is separate yourself apart from those other listings. If you have questions on how best to do that, please reach out. My contact information is in the description of the video. As always, I'd love to help you through your journey, whether it be buying or selling in Cochrane, Alberta. And until next time, I will catch you in the next one.